Well, hello friends, this is David Bose, and went out to the lake. This is a different lake. There's all kinds of lakes around here. I think this one's really pretty. And I'm trying to talk close to the camera so that the wind doesn't make my voice, crack. There it is. And well, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the Bible while we're out here. Haven't kind of gotten back to the basics in a long time. We used to talk about this all the time with you guys. I was just talking to somebody about the Bible. They were Seventh-day Adventist. We had a little discussion, and kind of like good old days. They were very, of course, convinced that we should keep the Sabbath. Of course, they don't know anything about the teachings that I've been talking about, where we've discovered that this God, Jehovah, was the evil deceiver, the slanderer, the accuser that Jesus spoke of. It fits very well once you understand that that's what Jesus was saying when he said that your father is a serpent. You are all offspring of serpents, and your God is the devil. He is the accuser, and he accuses my Father day and night before his throne. Not only that, he's a slanderer, because you're not sinners worthy of death from the time that you're born. You see, because we're all children of God. We all have the Christ within us. The spiritual seed is within us, according to the Apostle John. And whoever is born of God cannot sin. The Apostle Paul says that we have no law. We're under no condemnation, and all things are lawful because we are the heirs. We have dominion over this world. But if you follow after the flesh, you're sure to die, according to the Bible, because the flesh is this physical realm. But Jesus said, my kingdom's no part of this world. So all those who identify with the flesh and with this world, they worship the god of this world, which is Satan. And he's got all kinds of laws and rituals. So this is where I think my Adventist friend was very confused, and most Christians really. Modern times Christians like Seventh-day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses have pretty much gone forward and convinced most Christians of this, convincing them we should go back to the Jewish Ten Commandments and back to this judgment, an eye for an eye, and everybody's got to be punished for their sins, and and everybody's, but of course I don't know how they ignore the fact that both Jesus and the apostles said not to judge, and not to stone that woman, not to punish people for their sins, because we're all equal. And the wind's really picking up here. Hope it's not taking my voice away from you. Turn around to where maybe the wind's not gonna. Oh boy. There wasn't hardly any wind at all out here. Now all of a sudden, maybe it's going to go away here. There it goes. So, she was talking about how, she said, well, it's really the same thing. You say you go by love, but there's only two commandments, which is love God and love your neighbor. And so the Ten Commandments hang upon that. Well, that's a pretty good argument, that we really do in the end keep the Ten Commandments, because we keep the law of love. And so therefore, if you love, you're going to keep the commandments. But you see, that's not quite accurate, because the Apostle Paul said we are under no law, because we were under stewards until the time came, and now we are the masters. See, what good would the fruit of the Spirit, self-control, do us if we were just slaves, bound with a bit in our mouth, forced to keep a law, and if we didn't, they'd put us to death? See, the whole concept of being under law, that's what the nation of Israel, Jews, that's what they're under bondage. The Apostle Paul says, you who want to be under law, do you not read the law? You see, Hagar was a slave woman, and Jerusalem today is represents that. You're all in bondage with your children, and the Jewish city on earth is in bondage with her children to laws and ceremonies and rituals. That's the law that Jesus nailed to the cross when he died and set us free, because we are now have dominion. If you don't understand that Christ is spiritual and he's in you and you are a spiritual child of the living God, then you will not ever understand that the law is for those who are students of this world, who are fleshly, who are weak. His kingdom is no part of this world, friends. We're children of the light, children of the day, children of spirit. We don't need law. We are the masters. We have self-control because we follow after the Spirit. And our self-control guides us. Our compassion guides us. Our love guides us. We are under no law, Paul says, but we are only under Spirit and love. And even the Ten Commandments has ceremonial laws that prove nothing, such as the Sabbath. You know, Jesus made it very clear he did not want us to keep the Sabbath. He went out and he began to pick grain on the Sabbath, and he was ridiculed by the Pharisees for this. And they said, well, you're breaking the Sabbath. Jesus didn't say, no, I'm not breaking the Sabbath. He said, I am Lord of the Sabbath. I can do whatever I want. I have dominion. Remember, David had dominion as well when David went into the temple and got the showbread, which was unlawful for him to eat, but he did it anyway. We can break the law because we're not under the law. This is what Jesus was saying. We're not under the law of the Sabbath. See, we can go out and pick grain on the Sabbath. We can work because the Sabbath is not our God. See, our Father in heaven is free, and our Mother who is in heaven is free, because we have a spiritual body waiting for us, not this physical body, not this whore, right, who's having illicit affairs with the carnal world. Our carnal body has got to be taken to the cross, friends, and we shouldn't have to worry about law. Only Spirit, only love. See, that's why if you have the attitude that some Seventh-day Adventists have, Jehovah's Witnesses and many others, then you're going to be like that Pharisee, and you're going to be concentrating on whether or not someone has kept the law. That's a gauge on, the measure by whether you're righteous. And they tried to measure everybody that way. And Jesus said, no, you're a hypocrite, Pharisee. And the Pharisee said, well, I've kept all the laws from birth. I'm perfect. And Jesus said, no, you're not perfect. You've got a problem. You don't have compassion. And this woman, this prostitute, was weeping, cleansing his feet with her tears and drying them with her hair. And this Pharisee was just insulted. He said, do you not know who is present with you? This prostitute, this filthy whore? And Jesus said, no, this woman here, she loves me. But you, since I've come into your abode here, you have not once even offered me, anything. You haven't washed my feet. You don't love me like this woman does. Love, that's the true gauge and measure of whether we are on the right path, because we are spiritual children of our spiritual Father who is love. And our Father in heaven, he doesn't accuse. You have one that accuses you, and that is Moses. But I have come to give you life, and that more abundant. So friends, I guess I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Make this video kind of short. Beautiful lake, isn't it? Well, see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Isn't it neat out here? Dogs love it. Hi, baby. And this is the road coming in.